Hello everyone. In our today's video, we will be discussing the P block elements, group 15 elements, and in group 15, we will be discussing phosphorus and its compound. The compounds of phosphorus which we'll be discussing are phosphine, phosphorus halides, and oxoacids of phosphorus. So without any delay, let us start with phosphorus and its compound. Now, before discussing the phosphorus and its compound, let us first discuss the allotropic forms of phosphorus. When we say allotropic forms, what do we understand is it is the existence of the same element in different forms. Phosphorus exists in three elemental forms, that is white phosphorus, red phosphorus, and black phosphorus. So let us discuss one by one what are their properties and what or how they are formed. First, white phosphorus. White phosphorus exists as a waxy solid. In presence of light, it turns yellow. That's why it is also known as a yellow phosphorus. It exists as a unit where 4 atoms of phosphorus lie at the regular corner of a tetrahedron, with a bond angle between 3 phosphorus equal to 60 degrees, which introduce a huge strain in the molecule, making it very, very reactive. It is so reactive that it catches fire even at room temperature if it comes in contact with air, giving us white dense fume of phosphorus pentaoxide. Okay, if you see this structure, there will be a total of 6 bonds and 4 lone pair on the phosphorus atoms. Okay, since there are 4 phosphorus atoms, so there will be 4 lone pairs in the one molecule of white phosphorus. Coming for red phosphorus, it can be obtained from white phosphorus by heating it at around 573 Kelvin in an inert atmosphere, okay, for several days. And it should not be in contact with air. Obviously, when it comes in contact with air, white phosphorus will easily react with it. As a result, we have to take it in inert atmosphere. Red phosphorus also exists in tetrahedral form only, but these tetrahedral forms are linked together in red phosphorus to give you a polymeric structure, which you can see in the figure. Okay, it exists as tetrahedral form only, but they are actually linked together to give you a polymeric structure. Black phosphorus, again, it can be obtained from red phosphorus by heating it white phosphorus by heating it almost to 473 Kelvin under very high pressure in an inert atmosphere. Black phosphorus exists in 2 forms, which we called as alpha black phosphorus and beta black phosphorus. Now, if I take these 3 forms of phosphorus, remember that as I have discussed, that white phosphorus will be very, very reactive. And why it is so? As we have already discussed, that because of that 60-degree angle which it has in its tetrahedral structure, introduce a very high strain in the molecule, angular strain in the molecule, because of which it tends to become very reactive and reacts in presence of air. It catches fire even at room temperature in presence of air to give you white dense fume of phosphorus pentaoxide. That is the reaction which takes place. P4 plus 5O2 gives you P4O10. Okay, that is the reason why white phosphorus is always stored under water. Now, coming for the compounds of phosphorus, first, phosphorus halides. Now, as we know that there are 2 halides of phosphorus, phosphorus trichloride and phosphorus pentachloride. So first, let us try to take the lower oxidation state, that is phosphorus trichloride. Phosphorus trichloride can be prepared in 2 ways. Either we can directly take white phosphorus and heat it in limited quantity of chlorine gas, which will give you phosphorus trichloride. Or what we can do is we can take phosphorus and react it with thionyl chloride, SOCl2. It will give you phosphorus trichloride, sulfur dioxide, and disulfur dichloride as the side product. Properties. Phosphorus trichloride fumes in moisture. Remember that. Whenever it comes in contact with moisture or in water, then it produces white fumes. Why it is so? Because phosphorus trichloride, when it reacts with water, it gives you phosphorus acid and HCl. This HCl produces white fumes. That's why whenever we react phosphorus trichloride with water or in presence of moisture, it fumes. It is a very good chlorinating agent and replaces the OH group of various organic molecule, okay, and replacing it by a chlorine atom. So let us try to see, like when we have acetic acid or any carboxylic acid which contains an OH group, it replaces very easily that OH group and chlorinate the compound by replacing the OH by Cl and resulting into acetyl chloride or acid chloride and giving side product as phosphorus acid. It reacts with alcohols also by replacing the OH by Cl, giving you alkyl halide or haloalkene with side product as phosphorus acid. Okay. If we talk about the structure of phosphorus trichloride has a pyramidal shape with tetrahedral geometry. It has one lone pair, as you can clearly see in the screen, and 3 bond pairs, okay, which makes it a pyramidal shape. And remember that the overall geometry of the molecule is tetrahedral. Coming for phosphorus pentachloride, if we prepare it, we can prepare it in a very similar way as phosphorus trichloride. It can be prepared from white phosphorus, but this time we have to react it with excess of chlorine so that it gives you phosphorus pentachloride, not phosphorus trichloride, which you can clearly see in the screen. P4 plus 10 Cl2 gives you PCl5. It can also be prepared by reacting with sulfuryl chloride, SO2Cl2. This is not thionyl chloride, this is sulfuryl chloride. Whenever white phosphorus reacts with sulfuryl chloride, it gives you PCl5 and 10 sulfur dioxide molecule. Okay, so it is a very easy preparation of phosphorus pentachloride. So these are the 2 ways how we can prepare it. What are the properties? Very similar to phosphorus trichloride, it also fumes in moisture. But remember that when phosphorus pentachloride reacts with moisture, it gives you phosphorus oxychloride, POCl3. This POCl3, when it reacts with water, again, when it reacts with moisture, gives you phosphorus acid and HCl. So ultimate product is phosphorus acid and HCl only, but over here you get as an intermediate product, that is phosphorus oxychloride. Very important, phosphorus pentachloride, whenever you heat it, it decomposes to give you phosphorus trichloride and chlorine gas. We'll be discussing it further when we'll come into the structure of phosphorus pentachloride. It is again a very good chlorinating agent and replaces the OH from many organic molecules like carboxylic acid and alcohol, giving you the corresponding acetyl chloride and the alkyl chloride. Coming to the structure of phosphorus pentachloride has a trigonal bipyramidal geometry. Remember that in trigonal bipyramidal geometry, we have 2 angles. If you see this 3 chlorine atom, which is forming a trigonal plane, this 3 chlorine atom has a bond angle of, or this 3 chlorine group has a bond angle of 120 degrees. While the other 2, which is right angle to this plane of this 3 equatorial chlorine group, is nothing but known as the axial bond, and these 2 are nothing but 90 degrees to one another. Okay, so there are 2 types of bond. We call them equatorial, which are 120 degrees, and the other 2 are 90, which we call as axials. And a very important point over here, we have to note that this axial bonds are always longer than the equatorial bonds. It is because of the more repulsion which this particular bond pair faces, since it is only 90 degrees, as a result of which the bond tends to become longer to reduce the repulsion from the other equatorial pairs. As a result of which, since the bond becomes longer, these 2 axial bonds, as a result of which, what will happen is this 2 bond tends to become weaker than the other 3 bonds. Since these 2 bonds are weaker than the other 3 bonds, other 3 equatorial bonds, that's why whenever you heat PCl5, it decomposed to give you PCl3, breaking 2 of the chlorine groups, which is nothing but the 2 axial chlorine atoms. So this 2 axial chlorine atoms breaks whenever you heat PCl5, giving you PCl3 and chlorine gas. This shows that all the 5 bonds in PCl5 are not equivalent. The 3 are shorter, that is equatorial bonds, and the other 2, which are the axial bonds, are longer. So very important point to be actually note down in phosphorus pentachloride. Coming for the existence of phosphorus pentachloride, phosphorus pentachloride does not exist as PCl5 in solid state. Remember that. It exists in gaseous state as PCl5, but in solid state, it exists in ionic form as PCl4 plus and PCl6 minus. So remember that PCl5 exists in solid state in ionic form, okay, where the cation, that is PCl4 plus, is tetrahedral, whereas the anion PCl6 minus is octahedral in geometry. So remember that phosphorus pentachloride exists as PCl5 in gaseous state. In solid state, it exists in ionic form as PCl4 plus and PCl6 minus, where cation is tetrahedral and the anion is octahedral in geometry. So these are the various properties of the tetrahedral, the PCl phosphorus pentachloride and phosphorus trichloride molecules. Okay. Now, coming for the next compound of phosphorus, that is phosphine, which is nothing but PH3. So how do we prepare phosphine? Phosphine can be prepared from calcium phosphide, Ca3P2. When you react it with moisture, hydrolysis of calcium phosphide will easily give you calcium hydroxide and phosphine. It can also be prepared by reacting calcium phosphide with HCl. Whenever you do so, you get calcium chloride and phosphine. An important preparation of phosphine is by reacting it with sodium hydroxide in an inert atmosphere of carbon dioxide. So whenever white phosphorus is reacted with sodium hydroxide in an inert atmosphere of carbon dioxide, phosphine is produced, and also with it what we get is sodium hydrogen phosphide. Remember that this class of reaction is also known as disproportionation reaction. This class of reaction belongs to a class that is what we call as disproportionation reaction. What do we mean by disproportionation reaction? A disproportionation reaction is one where a particular element in the same reaction get oxidized also and get reduced also. So over here, if you can see, phosphorus P4 is an elemental form, so its oxidation state is 0. When this P4 converts to PH3, the phosphorus over here has an oxidation state of -3. So it is going from 0 to -3. So it is undergoing reduction. The same phosphorus from 0, if you calculate the oxidation state of phosphorus in sodium hydrogen phosphide, it is +1. So from 0, it is going to +1. That means it is going for oxidation. So that means the same phosphorus is going for reduction also, and the same phosphorus is undergoing oxidation also. Such class of reaction comes in a very important class of reaction, what we called as disproportionation reaction. It is one of the type of redox reaction. So remember that phosphine can be produced from calcium phosphide as well as from white phosphorus when we react white phosphorus with sodium hydroxide solution in an inert atmosphere of carbon dioxide. Why we take inert atmosphere of carbon dioxide? Since obviously white phosphorus is very reactive with air. So we need an inert atmosphere of carbon dioxide so that it does not react with air to give you phosphorus pentoxide. And remember that this belongs to a class of reaction, what we call as disproportionation reaction. Coming for properties, phosphine reacts with copper sulfate to give you cupric phosphide, which you can see in the structure or in the reaction Cu3P2. It reacts with mercuric chloride to give you mercuric phosphide, Hg3P2. Phosphine being a weak base, although it is not a very strong base, it is a weak base, but it reacts with acid like hydrogen bromide to give you a salt that is nothing but PH4Br. Okay, so these are the various properties of phosphine. Okay, phosphine is usually used to prepare the phosphites, and it being a very weak base, although it is not a very strong base like ammonia, but although since it has a lone pair, so it acts as a very weak base and reacts with acid to give the corresponding salts. Okay, coming to the structure of phosphine, again, phosphine, since it has 3 bonds, it will have one lone pair, giving it a pyramidal shape as in case of PCl3. Now coming for the oxoacids of phosphorus. So the oxoacids of phosphorus which we'll be discussing are, the first one is orthophosphoric acid. Okay, now whenever we say oxoacids, you can clearly see there will be a phosphorus and OH bond. That is why we call it an oxoacid. So whenever we say oxoacid of phosphorus, phosphorus will be bonded with an OH group, and this hydrogen which is attached with OH will be responsible for the acidic character of this particular oxoacid. If you try to see in this particular molecule, that is the oxoacids of phosphorus, okay, which is nothing but H3PO4, you can clearly see that the structure is tetrahedral with 3 OH group, and this 3 OH group, since there is a difference of the electronegativity between oxygen and hydrogen, this bond becomes highly polar and breaks very easily, giving you O- and H+. So there will be 3 H+ given. So the basicity of this particular acid will be 3. If you calculate the oxidation state, comes out to be +5. Coming for the next, that is H3PO3, which we called as orthophosphorus acid or just phosphorus acid. Its basicity will be 2, although it has 3 hydrogen, but remember that the basicity of this particular acid will be 2, since there will be only 2 OH group attached to this particular molecule, or this particular molecule have only 2 OH group. The third hydrogen is attached to phosphorus, and phosphorus and hydrogen does not have much of the electronegativity difference, making this bond very highly polar. As a result, this bond does not break as P- and H+. So this particular bond will not be able to furnish H+ ion. So the H+ ion will be furnished only by this OH group, which will be 2 in number. So that's why basicity is 2. If you calculate the oxidation state, it comes out to be +3. Coming for the third oxoacid, which is hypophosphorus acid. Its basicity is 1. You can clearly see why. The number of OH group is just 1, so it can furnish only 1 H+. The remaining 2 will not be furnishing any hydrogen ion, and the oxidation state will be +1. The next one is an anhydride of phosphoric acid, which we call as pyrophosphoric acid. Okay, whenever we heat phosphoric acid, it loses water molecule to give you this anhydride of phosphoric acid, which we also called as pyrophosphoric acid. If you clearly see, there will be 4 OH groups, so basicity will be 4 with an oxidation state of +5 on both the phosphorus atom. And finally, coming for cyclotrimetaphosphoриc acid, it has a cyclic structure by having actually a basicity of 3, which you can clearly see. It has 3 OH group and an oxidation state of +5 on all the 3 phosphorus atom. So these are the oxoacids of phosphorus. Okay, their structure, their basicity, and their oxidation state. So that is all about the phosphorus and its compound. So what we have discussed in this particular video is the phosphorus trichloride, phosphorus pentachloride, phosphine, and oxo acid, with a basic idea of the allotropic forms of phosphorus, which are nothing but white, red, and black phosphorus. Knowing that white phosphorus is one of the most reactive if you compare with the other forms of phosphorus. So that is all about this particular video. Thank you, everyone. Do subscribe for this channel for explanation on various topics in chemistry. Thank you.